Hi, welcome to Zeda Talks. My name is Mwende Ngao, and today we are joined by someone really fantastic doing something really amazing. Winnie Rioba is a travelpreneur. I know you're wondering what exactly is a travelpreneur. Well, we're going to find out. So, Winnie, what is a travelpreneur?
Very good question. My definition of travelpreneur is a combination of travel blogging, travel influencing, and the most important part of it all for me is hosting and curating experiences for women to different parts of the world and Kenya, mostly Kenya and Africa.
Okay, that's really interesting because I know, I don't know for you guys, but for me, I wouldn't have thought of travel in that way as a career or like something you could pursue. What led you to get into travel and especially into blogging about travel and hosting events and things around travel?
Well, like everyone else, I've always been passionate about travel. And well, that is how it started with passion for something. And I started traveling and I would get so many similar questions on my social media platforms. What did you do? Where did you stay? How did you get there? What was the visa process like? Are Kenyans allowed to visit this country? And someone told me, instead of you spending so much time on social media, answering the same questions to different people, why don't you just start a website and put all this information in one place so that if someone asks you, different people ask you, just share the link with them. And that is how my journey for travel blogging started. And then initially I was just traveling solo. And then I would get my email subscribers reaching out saying, listen, we really love what you do, but solo travel is not for us. Is it possible for us to accompany you? And then that's how my travel company came about. And because a large percentage of my subscribers are women, it only made sense for me to host trips that are focused on women. Mm-hmm. And that is how it came about to be.
Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So you have realized, you have a passion for travel. You're traveling by yourself.
Yeah.
And then people are reaching out and saying, hey, give me tips on travel. What are some of the things that people were asking? Because I probably was one of those people. I think I asked, what did I ask? I think I used to ask about, because my idea of travel was it's going to be expensive. Mm-hmm. It's something that you need to save up for. And also because a lot of the places that I was seeing were on the pricier end.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Kenyan travel traveling locally can be expensive.
That's true.
So I'm saying, okay, it's going to cost me like, maybe 100,000 or 100 and something thousand or 200K for me to go for a week to, Lamu or something like that. And then I'm like, why? Do you have like a trust fund somewhere? Because I keep seeing you traveling, so much. What would you say are the things that are making it like difficult for people to travel? What are the things that people ask when it comes to traveling?
The most common question actually is about funds, because there are people who are really, really love traveling. So there's funds. How do you save? How do you plan? And then the other question is visa processes to visit other countries, especially because the Kenyan passport is very weak. So those two questions are some of the most questions I've received. And when it comes to planning in terms of finances, would you believe if I told you that I already know where I'll be in December 2022?
No, because I don't know I'll be in December 2021.
I will be in Mauritius in December 2022. And it's very intentional. I plan because it's a company, it's for my company, it's no longer for me. Mm-hmm. I plan and create a payment plan for. So if a trip costs maybe 200,000, you tell someone to give you 200,000 right now, they'll look at you like, are you? So I create a payment plan for these women and then they pay 10,000, 5,000. So when you're paying that amount of money every month or every 2 months, it won't hurt as bad as paying zote pamoja. You get? So for finances, you have to plan way ahead. I know white people that plan to do safaris in the African continent and they save up for 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. I was going to say, I know that kind of saving culture for travel is how a lot of Western travelers plan.
Yeah.
And I think for Kenyans, it's those ones we wake up and are like, okay, I want to go to coast next week. How much is
have
it?
to- You have to be very intentional, and you have to be open-minded enough to want to travel, because it's cheaper, relatively affordable to travel in a group as opposed to traveling solo. You have to be open-minded enough to understand that not all your friends and your family members would love travel. So you're open-minded to meet other people who share the same passion as you, and you end up being friends. And at the end of the day, you probably won't need me to plan your trips anymore. But that's how it starts.
So, how was it when you were solo traveling? Because I'm really curious about that. I don't mind solo traveling. Okay, I do a lot of group travel, but even on group travel, there's those things that I tend to do a lot of stuff solo, because not everyone is going to be interested in all the activities during even a group trip. So I don't mind solo travel, but some of the things that hold me back from doing a lot of it, especially outside of Kenya, is I'm always worried about like safety and being a Black African woman. I'm like, okay, am I in any danger when I go to certain countries? How did you maneuver with such issues?
Initially, when my first big solo travel was in 2016, I did Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. And it came at a point where I had already done some travels before to Zanzibar. So I'd already collected a number of followers. So for me, it came from a point of privilege, because I was connecting with women in each country. And it was actually 2017 when the coup happened, when Mugabe was ousted. I was in Harare at the time, and my mom did not know that.
Oh, wow.
It was scary, despite the fact that I already had a connection, and someone who actually took me to the airport told me it's going to be okay, even if it didn't seem okay at the time. So basically what I'm saying is have a connection of different people in different countries, so that when you travel, even if you're solo, they already know, because you can't know everything. For instance, someone coming from Ghana to Kenya, they probably might not know about M-Pesa. But if they have a local contact who doesn't charge them, just tells them the tips of moving around, they'll be fine. So for me, I already had that connection. And the travel community is so wide. I'm telling you, if I decided I'm going to go to Denmark, there's definitely someone I'm going to meet there. So it's solo, but it's not really solo, because you meet people or you have someone helping you along the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you basically need to just tap into the community.
In the community, yes. Tap into the community, exactly.
Okay, great. So what has been, now you fast forwarded, you have this, it's called the Just Rioba Way. Right?
Yes, the Just Rioba Way.
Why the Just Rioba Way?
I thought Just Rioba tours, no. The Just Rioba Way, it's because I'm curating experiences as if they were for me. Actually, when I plan a trip to Lamu, it's for me. And then the others come and experience what I would want to experience. So I put it step by step, and it's very well detailed, very well curated, so that you know that these are things that I love doing, and if you want to do them, you're welcome to come along the way. Yeah. So it's actually my way of traveling. Yeah.
Okay, that makes complete sense. So what has that experience been like? Because I've been seeing the trips are very successful, right? Am I right?
Yes.
I know I'm yet to come for one.
You should.
But I will definitely plan for that.
Yeah.
I saw that you started first with local trips.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing you've expanded to international trips. What's your thinking behind that?
Well, it now came from a place of demand. I have this form that I send out almost every 2 months to just ask about destinations that people are interested in. And the last international destination that we did was Namibia. I hosted about 17 women in Namibia. And it was, I wish I could have taken more, but now that I'm working with just one other person, it wouldn't have made sense to go with 30 or 40 women to that country. But the demand to countries like Morocco, Namibia are very high, and I love those countries anyway. So for me to go there is not really a big deal. Yeah. So it comes from the women. The women suggest, can we do Namibia? And I've been seeing them asking about Indonesia now.
Yeah, And when I heard you say Mauritius, I was like, okay, yeah. Those are countries that I know a lot of people are interested in going
for sure.
Going to.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would you say? Like, I want to travel. And maybe I'm unsure. Because, so I'm a beginner traveler. And I want to start, dipping my feet into traveling. I don't know if I'm ready to immediately set off to Indonesia as a first time traveler, how would you say is a good way to kind of get into it?
I'm not sure I get it, but let me respond to what came to my mind first. Pictures don't tell the whole story. Vlogs don't tell the whole story. Travel vlogs don't tell the whole story. So if you really want to get into travel, I'd suggest you read up a destination. Read up and just read travel blogs, watch maybe travel videos by locals of what to expect. Because there's this thing that people build in their head of expecting a place to be like this because of the pictures that they saw on social media. And most of the time, it's not always the case. I mean, you saw our pictures in Namibia.
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh my goodness, you guys, this is like a high fashion spread.
Yeah. So if you are able to go through some of the threads, I was explaining how the weather was horrible. It was extremely hot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Or it was extremely windy, or it was hard to get to a particular mountain because you have to hike to get to such views.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a reward at the end, but it's good to know what to expect. So read up, just don't show up. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I agree with that because I've been to like Zanzibar.
Oh, I love Zanzibar.
I loved Zanzibar, but there were some things I was like, I think there was like a lot of it is like, romantic and things. So then when I got there, I was like, oh, okay. I've also seen people complain like about Paris. Like you had a thought in your head of like, and then you're like, wait, Paris has rats and, like basically like there's, so because of course people are doing the highlights. It's a highlight reel of places.
Yeah.
And especially if it's like their job, they're not going to show you like, some of the negative things.
Exactly. Especially those people that travel as influencers, the sides they won't show you. They'll just show you the pretty sides. So it's better to just dig into vlogs and blogs and actually get the experience on the ground. And also you don't have to be that kind of traveler. You can say, you know what, me, I don't like suffering. So
yeah, me, I don't like suffering.
I'll just go to the pretty places and forget about these other experiences. And if you're that kind of traveler, then Bali is not for you. Indonesia isn't really for you, because for you to get to those places that are extremely pretty, it's a hassle.
Really?
Yes. It's a hassle. But yes.
Please expound what is a hassle. Like what?
The infrastructure in some places, it's not really good. And then it's remote. So for you to get from one end to that particular place is going to be a challenge. Then the network is horrible. And then those swings that you
I know.
see.
The swings over the edges of hills or whatever.
Yeah. I heard that there's, especially a place like Turkey, that place where there's the nice rugs where people lie down and take nice pictures.
Yeah.
The places with the, what are they called, hot water balloons.
Yeah.
There's usually like lines. You're told, hey, come, take 3 pictures. Okay, you're done. Bye.
Oh my goodness.
And you have to pay for that because influencers and social media has made places really popular and everyone wants FOMO. FOMO doesn't work for me. That's why I do destinations like Namibia, and then everyone is telling me, listen, I didn't know Namibia. Is that really Namibia? I didn't know it's like that, because I know what over-visiting places can cause. And it's chaotic. Yeah.
Let's go a little bit more into that about over-visiting, because I mean, just to tie into like the future of travel, I know that there are a lot of destinations. I've seen reports that they're over-visited. So like some of the locals have started to say, hey, you guys, we can't have people visiting all year round, or we need to limit the number of people that are coming here because they're polluting, or they're making it impossible for the locals to have like a normal life. What would you say to that?
Thailand, I think even before the pandemic, they were already complaining about people visiting because it was becoming too much. And then the pandemic happened. Obviously, it helped. For me, it makes sense. Find other places to visit. You don't have to go. And that's why I'm saying FOMO shouldn't have to work on you. You don't have to, unless it's really necessary. You don't have to visit a place just because everyone else is going there. There are so many other beautiful places to visit. And it's also degrading the environment. It also has a negative impact on the locals because prices tend to go up. If so many people are going and they don't mind spending. So find other places, do your research. And if you don't want to do your research, pay someone to do it for you. For you.
So what do you think is the future of travel? Like when you look at the way travel is going, what do you think are some of the things that we should expect? Or what would you like to see as the future of travel?
I'm going to speak as a holder of a weak passport. It's going to be really, it was already hard to travel to European countries and Western African countries where we need a visa. And now that there is a pandemic, it's working in our favor somehow, because not so many people are visiting, but the regulations have become really strict. And also there's vaccines that apparently are not being accepted when you want to visit these European countries. So unless there's a solution to the virus, you just have to. And then also paying for the COVID test, it's so expensive. I mean, you spend at least $150 going and coming back, and that is without the visa. That is the future, unfortunately. So it's going to be a bit expensive for now until the pandemic is over. Is it going to be over though?
Yeah, I think we're probably going to be stuck with I think it's going to become part of travel in general.
Yes.
Like where you get a yellow fever shot, you need to get a COVID shot, a COVID test.
Yeah. And also because of what is happening, you could choose to explore your country or neighboring countries like Tanzania. I'm speaking as a Kenyan, Ugandan, and African countries, especially Southern Africa. It has some really exotic, beautiful destinations. So we could start looking into that, local travels, exploiting local travels. And if you really want to do international travels, you have to think and plan way, way ahead. Yeah.
So speaking of the pandemic, because I mean, we witnessed the travel industry was basically decimated. But also at the same time, there was a lot of what you're saying, local travel. Mm-hmm. I think I saw a lot of Kenyans who probably had never really thought about traveling, like let alone that were traveling like abroad and then now had to travel within their country, had never really thought about traveling in that way, or traveling. I remember even going to places like the national park and being really surprised at how many people were there.
Yeah.
Because those are not the numbers that were there before.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think that, maybe that kind of sparked something in Kenyans to want to travel more, especially locally? And then also, do you have any comments on, I know I do, a lot of comments on the local travel industry and some of these like travels and tour companies and hotels and how they treat local travelers?
Okay. Well, the pandemic was horrible, but it also somehow worked in favor of local travelers. So many people picked up visiting national parks, going on hikes. To be honest, before the pandemic, I was kind of struggling to get clients. But after everyone was now locked out and after now they were able to get out of their house, people were willing to try things they'd never tried. I got the highest number of visitors to Mount Kenya with my company, Mount Kilimanjaro. And it's something that people have now moved into their lifestyle, mm-hmm. and also traveling. So I think it did well for people to try local travels. And in regards to how the travel industry treats, and it's not just Kenya, it's actually the African travel industry in general, because people have complained about being treated differently based on who they are in Zanzibar. I've had people complaining about Cape Town.
Yeah.
Even the place we visited in Namibia, in Swakopmund, a Namibian commented on my tweet and said, "Hey, listen, beautiful place, enjoy the racism too." I mean, it's things that have been happening in the African industry, in the African travel industry. So what I have to say is that the way they were treating us during the pandemic, not before the pandemic, because that was horrible, but during the pandemic, where they reduced prices into half for Africans, they hung up. Who is it? Oh, I'll call him later. Okay. I don't want to receive it. Sorry about that. I should have done that before. Here we go. Was I?
You were talking about.
It's okay. I need you to speak directly into the microphone. Me? Both of you. Oh.
Gosh, I might. I hope not.
We are getting it, but you speak directly.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Yeah. So, I think, what are you saying?
The way they were treating us before during the pandemic,
Yeah, yeah.
slashing prices,
Yeah.
encouraging us
Yeah.
to visit.
Yeah.
Should I continue? Okay.
Are we still rolling? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In regards to the local travel industry, not just Kenya, even the African travel industry in general, the way they started being nice to us after the pandemic, slashing prices into half, encouraging us to visit their properties, I think it should be the same way, because if you want to encourage local markets, local travels, don't give us the same prices as people who are not locals.
Yeah.
And don't just do that because there's a pandemic, because you now need us. Because if you show us that you value us, we will always be traveling because the conditions are favorable for us. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always really surprised because Kenya is actually pricey.
Very.
When you compare, like my money could go a longer way. Like if I go to Dubai, for example, and then even the rates, the hotel rates, the kind of hotel I can stay at with my money compared to what I would stay at here, there's such a huge difference.
Very.
It's actually very, it's very discouraging. So yeah, you are right. I do think that, I mean, there's definitely, I remember a lot of chatter around some of these places and even some of them who are closed because there are hotels that closed completely.
Yes.
And some that, I remember I'm trying to remember, I'm not going to mention names because I don't need heat.
Yeah.
But I remember there's some hotels that have closed that are historical hotels. And it's really shocking to find out that, well, other properties were trying very hard to cater to Kenyans and trying to lower their prices. There are others that literally did not have even one visitor the entire time.
Yes.
Because when the pandemic was happening, they couldn't get international visitors. And then instead of trying to at least attract local visitors, they didn't even attempt. They kept their prices the same. They kept things closed off. And then now they're closed. And it's like, okay, does that even make any economical, like,
it's very unfortunate.
how did you, like, do you not care about your business? Like, why do you not want Kenyans to even, like, it's so, like, for me, it was really shocking. I was like, okay, this makes no sense to me because I've seen properties that are doing well ever since they started really marketing to Kenyans.
Yes. I think this pandemic should serve as a learning lesson for all industries, especially the travel industry, because it was one of the hardest hit industry. No movement at all. But you should cater for everyone, not just a particular market because you believe the particular kind of people, because you believe they give you money more than... You haven't even tried locals. I mean, you see Kenyans spending so much money in bars over the weekend. It's so unfortunate. I mean, I'm not really into... If you catch me in an event, it's an influencing event, or a concert, it's an influencing concert, because I don't have that kind of money to spend at events on drinks and cabs, because I can't obviously drive to have a good time. I don't have that money, but these Kenyans actually do. You just have to... I realized with Kenyans, you just actually have to draw a plan for them, and it will make sense. But if you don't, they'll take their money to the bars. No offense to bars, by the way. Bars are good.
Yeah. So it's true. And you're right. And just to, I don't know how to phrase this question because I know it's a huge debate, because I know you cater completely to women. Do you feel that women are more interested in travel than men? Because I've seen some conversation, and even I think some statistics around how a lot of Kenyan men don't really travel as much. And if they're traveling with a partner or with their family. And it's usually like the partner who's like, yo, let's go to X. And they're the ones who are mostly doing a lot of the planning. Because I've seen even those trips like where it's come and what do you call it? Speed dating trips. And it's like 90% women, 10% men, which makes no sense. So do you think like men are more interested in taking their money to the bars? Because I can see someone spending like 20,000, 50,000 at a bar. And I'm like, well, that money, and then they never travel. And you wonder, well, that money could probably take you on very nice trips.
Yeah. I mean, if I spend 50,000 2 weekends in a bar, that's 100,000. I could get a flight ticket somewhere and still have some pocket change. Anyway, I was just thinking, I actually cater to women only, but I plan and organize trips for other genders. It's just that it's not all over it's not on my portfolio. And the men that reach out to me, it's either they're paying women trips for their women to come for my trips, or they're paying for trips to go with their sons and daughters or as a family. I have never gotten a client, and this is not it's not meant to conclude anything. It's just my experience. I've never met a man who will tell me, oh, I want to go for a solo trip or go with just my boys. It's either they're going with their spouses or their partners or their children, or not at all. I don't know why they're not interested in like group trips with strangers. Men would, I doubt they would ever do it. So yes, women travel more than men in my experience. And it's not just here in Kenya. Even when you check those Black American travel pages, it's mostly women that are willing to travel and meet other people in the process. Because like I said earlier, travel is not for everyone. If you keep waiting for your friends to travel with you, you're going to be waiting forever, because there's people who don't like doing it and you can't force them to do it. And the only way for you to do it is either you do it alone or you're willing to make new friends.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for men to do that. It's really so hard for them to do it.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the psychology of that. Like, it's a very interesting thing I've also noticed. So you've talked a lot about places you've been, but I really want to now just know your faves. Favorite place in Kenya?
Okay. All right. I love Diani because of the scuba diving thing that is going there. There's so many adrenaline activities that happen in Diani. I love scuba diving and jet skiing, and there's also some quad bikes, places that you go, you can jump on. I'm really into adrenaline intense activities. Yes, so definitely Diani. Mount Kenya.
I know, I was waiting for you to say it. I was like, that is the one thing I'm like, hiking.
Listen, I doubt that is the most beautiful place I've ever visited. Chogoria route. Seeing Kenya from top, it's one of the most fulfilling, beautiful. It's not even about, seriously, going up there.
Can you see it without hiking?
Yeah, you hop on a helicopter, yes.
So if you can't afford a helicopter, you need to hike up.
You can afford a helicopter. It's just $2,000 an hour.
Noted.
But even the hiking, because you get to interact with the lakes, freshwater lakes, like Kabisa, with a helicopter, you have to see it from top.
From the top, yeah.
But with the hiking, you just do it. It's tough, but so Mount Kenya, Diani, I love Nanyuki.
Mm-hmm.
It's quiet, the air is fresh. And also some parts of the North Rift region. I actually visited that place for the first time after when the pandemic was happening on the Now Travel campaign.
Mm-hmm.
That is how I actually discovered the place, thanks to that campaign. So yes,
where exactly in the North Rift?
There's this little place called Kapsimotwa Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Somebody's son should take me then to me over there.
Oh, really?
These places are so untouched because not so many people go there. So they are not, I don't know the correct words to use, but it's perfection. It's so green. The lake is, you can actually, if you peep, you'll see unaona hadi chini.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no one. So beautiful. And then the sunset over there is out of this. Sorry?
I'm saying, you're right. Those are the places that are not really marketed.
Yes.
So people, Kenyans only know like Mombasa,
Masai
Mara, and where else? There's a third place I'm forgetting.
There's a time I did a thread on Twitter for Diani, places and things to do in Diani. And I think it got like 2,000 retweets. And everyone was like, dude, I thought Diani is for drinking and chilling by the beach. And
what?
Sis, no.
Yeah, because I think like Diani is probably the place that has the most adrenaline, like kite surfing.
Yes.
Because that's where the kite surfing,
exactly.
The school is as well.
But Kenyans don't know this because they only know of Mombasa and Masai Mara.
Yeah, and even in those places, they don't know the activities.
Yes,
because
exactly.
okay, I hardly go to Mombasa because I think I've done everything in Mombasa. I also love Diani. That's Diani and Watamu are my favorite places in the coast.
I love Watamu.
And of course Lamu. But I know a lot of people who complain when they go to Lamu because they're like, there's nothing to do because there's something to do is clubbing.
Oh yes.
So yeah, I guess that's another place that people should know. If you're looking to club, then that's not the place. If you're looking to relax, then yeah, choose Lamu.
Yeah.
If you're looking to still have that clubby,
Diani,
whatever, probably go to
Malindi.
Diani or Malindi.
Yes, true.
So favorite place in Africa?
Oh my God. I usually like to pick places that allow me to have all factors held constant, all political factors, everything that is bad about that place, racism, I'm going to put them on constant because if I start thinking about those things, then every single place I would not like the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to visit places that allow me to maybe jump off a plane, go paragliding, or swim at the edge of like the Devil's Pool in Zambia.
Yeah.
So my favorite place is Cape Town because I can do all those things together. And it's like a fairy tale city.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Namibia and Livingstone, Zambia. Very, very incredible places. So much to do. You can't even finish. You have to keep going back because there's a lot to do. And I know you love Cape Town because you're a wine.
Yes, especially. I know. Because when I went, I was like, please, I could listen. It's just that I don't have the coins necessary to live in this place because it's expensive.
Yes.
But that for me, that was the highlight. Yeah. Just the wine, the country, as in it's just beautiful and relaxing. Like that's my vibe. It's true. So not the hiking thing. But I also like adrenaline activities.
Yes.
So like bungee jumping, paragliding, zip lining and things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't like, as long as you're not doing too much hiking. But adrenaline, definitely lifestyle things, culture things.
Food.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. There's a lot to do in Cape Town.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay, favorite place internationally. I know have you started doing international trips outside of Africa?
I'm actually doing Morocco next year, 2 trips because I announced one, it's sold out. So I have to do another one in March, which is also sold out. Kenyans do have money. It's just that they just need
somewhere to take it.
And they also need to be told this is what we'll be doing so that they can paint a picture. Because if you tell someone, give me $1,000, they won't, like, no, I need to see where it's going. I need to see the value for my money. So when I'm in Morocco, after that trip, I'm going to visit France, Portugal, Spain, and Italy first on my own so that I can curate experiences for the women. So I'm going to start doing Europe in 2023. But I absolutely love Italy.
Oh, yeah. I've never been, but since I liked wine in Cape Town, I definitely would love. I hope when you go there, that is what there's a wine tour somewhere in the activities.
Sure. I usually try to incorporate for hikers, for people that love wine and food, to try and incorporate everything so that everyone can have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you.
Okay, so how can people plug in? Because we've talked already about, and you're already saying that it's full. It's full.
The best way for someone to be the first one to receive information about not just my travel experiences, but even travel tips, because I also blog. I still blog.
Yeah,
is to sign up to my mailing list on my website, which is justrioba.com. But if you don't like giving away your email, you can follow me on social media, Just Rioba, on Twitter, on Instagram. There's that little highlight on Instagram where I've written my 2022 trips. Yeah. So that is how you can plug in, make new friends.
Amazing, because I'm definitely going to try and see which trip I can make it for. In 2022 and in 2023, because now that you've said Europe, I'm already interested. It would be fun to go with other women.
Yes,
and explore.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to wind up, because you've said something that has just made me think about something else. When you talked about blogging, and people are always saying, "Oh, blogging is dead. People don't read anymore. People are more interested in visual content." But I feel that when it comes to travel, the more in depth you are, the better, because I generally struggle to find, I need that information, and there's not a lot of it out there, especially from a Kenyan perspective.
Twitter is like a mini website for me. That is how I actually got so many. I don't have that many followers, but I got followers from doing those mini threads on Twitter.
Yeah.
And when I look up this information, it's also on vlogging. Like people vlog about it, but it's so hard for you to capture everything. Watching videos is very exciting, especially if someone is an excellent cinematographer. But it's exciting if I'm not interested in visiting the place. If someone goes to Antarctica and captures the place, I'm like, oh,
but
wow,
I just want
stunning.
a visual meaning.
But if I want to visit a place, I need the information. I need the visa process. Otherwise, you'll be extorted. And it's very hard for me to start talking about, hey, listen, so I went to South Africa. These are the requirements on video. Someone will, the attention span on video.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So for reading, someone can bookmark and watch and read later. So no, blogging is not dead. It's not. If it was dead, I wouldn't be here doing this interview.
No, thank you. No, as a fellow blogger, I just wanted you to say
it's not
to say it because I'm always like, people say blogging.
And also, like, another thing, you don't own social media platforms. You don't own YouTube. You don't own Twitter. You don't own Instagram. And something might happen. Glitches might happen, and you might post something and someone might miss it. But if you send it to someone's email address, 3 days later, 4 days later, even if they missed it, they missed your post on Instagram, they'll see it. I always believe in emailing and website and
like having your own platform that people can
have
access.
Your platform that you can control. Yes. So no, it's
absolutely
not
right.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited, and I love everything that you do, because I think travel is not just for seeing beautiful places, but it's about learning and interacting with other people.
Yeah.
And that is really fantastic. So thank you, Winnie, so much for making the time. Hopefully we'll be meeting up on a trip soon.
Yes. I owe you a trip anyway.
Oh my goodness. So. Did you hear? Oh, I'm like, a trip? Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys, for watching our videos. This is Zeda Talks, which is part of Zeda Media, where we try to curate content and events that women like you love. Men also, you're welcome. And I am your host, Mwende Ngao. Thank you so much for making the time. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and follow us on Twitter at Zeda Media, on Instagram at Zeda Media, and email us, zeda@zedamedia.com, letting us know your thoughts on this podcast, as well as if you would like to be on this podcast. If you're a woman, that is, we are very, very open to meeting you and to hearing your stories. Thank you so much.